All right, market recap for Wednesday, February 25th. What's going on, boys? No trades for me today. Unfortunate because bias was pretty correct. Draws and liquidity were taken here, and then I thought we were going to come up to this 4 hour high. We probably still will because this is just an insanely bullish close. Like, um, and I was looking to potentially take a trade here within this 15-minute fair value gap. We started to chop around, and it is my cue to get off for the day. As always, um, daily bias. Coming into the morning, this is what the market looked like. We had just taken the liquidity to the left of us. There was potential to either come up to this 4 hour gap or come down and potentially take out the lows from London session lows, Asia session lows. And the reason I thought that was a pretty valid potential because, we've been in this range for 2 weeks, right? Take the highs, probably going to sell off. But we ended up pumping up to this 4 hour gap. And then, but yeah, my thoughts coming into the morning was we just took high time frame liquidity to the left. Could continue to displace higher to the 4 hour gap if we fall back into the range, which we've done for the past 2 weeks. I'm confident targeting these lows down here. So coming back to the charts, you can see that we just opened the market and straight up pumped. I'm just going to go full screen and queue here. We opened for market open and straight up pumped this 4 hour gap, pumped past it. Thought we were going to pull back here, potentially be able to target this 4 hour high up here because it was only 73 points away. So it would have been a good trade if we had gotten good reactions here. Simply did not. Zooming into the 1 minute chart, market opens on this dash line here. First 1 minute candle is what is this? 50-point candle displacing towards the 4 hour gap. Open up this 1 minute fair value gap. I was looking for price to pull back to this. If we had pulled back and gave a good reaction, I would have slapped on a long here. Literally had my short form recording set up, ready to go. Had my long tool ready to go, just waiting for a pullback. I wasn't going to limit order this because, like I said, we had just taken the daily liquidity to the left of us. Also, not ever gonna limit order based off of the market open candle, right? Because of that market open volatility. A lot of times we will just run through it in like one candle. So not something I'd want to limit order here. If you did limit order this, you would have barely gotten tapped in and you would have had a nice trade to the 4 hour gap. Not something I was willing to do in this situation. So I wanted to see us get a little bit of a deeper pullback. I was even willing to zoom into the 5-second chart to potentially find 5-second breakup structure within the 1 minute fair value gap if we had actually pulled back to it, but we didn't. So I was looking for any way to get confirmation out of this 1 minute fair value gap. We just never really pulled back into it. So this trade, or this liquidity was already taken, and so at this point I'm literally zoomed out to the hourly chart. I think I'm literally zoomed out to the hourly chart because from here to the next buy side liquidity we have 160 points. I'm not getting chopped up, right? I want to see us continue to displace past and disrespect this 4 hour and 1 hour gap. What do we do? Coming to the 4 hour chart, we literally closed above and disrespected this 4 hour gap. Once we do that, all right, perfect. I'm now willing to take longs to this buy side liquidity up here. What do I need to see? Well, at this point in time, we've already pumped up 200 points without getting a pullback, so I'd want to see a pretty decent pullback before targeting the buy side higher. We pull back to this 5 minute fair value gap right here. Was potentially, it turned into a 15-minute, but it was originally a 5 minute. So if we go to the 1 minute chart, this just wasn't a deep enough of a pullback for me. I know, if you're like, this would be like a textbook pattern trade. Oh, 5 minute fair value gap, 1 minute IFVG. Also, the buy up had already wicked out the internal high. So like, based on the fact that we hadn't really pulled back, I was honestly debating on whether or not to take a trade here if we ended up closing above these internal highs. We kept wicking out internal high, therefore I never took a trade. If we had closed above the internal highs that were put in, I honestly would have potentially entered a trade, something let's say we put in this internal high and this candle closed up here, right? confirming that, okay, we're actually going to continue higher, I would have taken a trade like this. Because if we had continued to close higher above the internal highs that are put in, it's like, okay, it looks like we're just not going to get a pullback whatsoever. And this was a pretty clean, rejection. We never got that though. That's why I never entered there. We then come down, chop around here. This just wasn't clean at all. I was zoomed out to the 5-minute chart. Once again, like when when you have a good draw on liquidity, right, and we pull back to a high time frame gap, it's all about being like, there's many different scenarios when these candles are forming. You have your long tool pulled out, and it's like, okay, if we need to close, if we get a strong close here, I'll enter. If we get a strong close here, I'll enter. Okay, no. Okay, we come back down. I'm zoomed back out to the 5-minute chart. Okay, 5-minute looks really good. Boom, boom. I want to see this 5-minute candle close up here. I don't want to see us pull back. We did invert this gap. It's like, dang, we didn't close that 5-minute candle as strong as I wanted to. Okay, I want to see a 1-minute candle come back up and close above the 5-minute wick that we just put in. Come back to the 1-minute chart. We never did that. We come up and we wick it out on the 1 minute and then sell off, right? So there's these, I just want to see a little bit more confirmation. That's what goes on in my mind. And when everything seems primed for a trade, and I just want to see a little bit more. Oh, we don't get that. Okay, I'm not going to take the trade. And it's not, that's the difference between like pattern trading something. Like you could have easily pattern traded this 15-minute fair value gap, 5-minute IFVG. Did we actually close above it? Yeah, we did. I just marked that out wrong. 5-minute IFVG. You could have pattern traded that, but that just wasn't enough for me. And thankfully, it wasn't enough for me. Thankfully, I stayed out of it because it would have gotten stopped out here. But that was another scenario where, like, if we had actually closed above, just close above, and I would have entered, that would have given me the confirmation that we're probably going higher. We're at least going to take out the internal high, quick break even. I just never got the full confirmation that I wanted. Yeah, that's why I stayed out of this. That's why I think we haven't moved to the 4-hour buy side yet. And like I said, it's not like this trade won't play out. I think it will play out later in the session. Either later in the session, or maybe we just stall out here until overnight when we take an Asia or London session, or maybe we stall out until New York session tomorrow. You just don't know, and you can't predict exactly when it's going to happen. All you can do is react. All you can do is wait for the market to tell you, okay, now we're going to go, and react off of that. I never got that full confirmation here, therefore I'm not taking a trade. And I don't trade past 11 o'clock, so I'm logging off. That's just how I trade, protecting capital. I don't really want to be trading in this chop here. So this is still a draw on liquidity that are higher. I think it will play out at some point. I'm just not going to be on the charts for it. And so no trades for me today. Yeah, that's what I saw. That's why that was my exact thought process coming into the market. And it sucks. Well, it doesn't suck. I'm glad I didn't force something today, because break even or ended last week with a loss on Thursday. Friday, no trades. Monday, break even. Tuesday, break even. I could have easily crashed out and forced something today, and I didn't. It would have been so easy to force a trade here. Let my emotions get the best of me. But I didn't. And that's the difference between finding success and failing. It's just learning. I know these days, coming into today, I knew I was going to be, by default, a little bit more emotional, coming off of a loss and 2 straight break-evens that were brutal and heartbreaking and hard to stomach. Yesterday's break-even trade was hard to stomach throughout the rest of the day. And the reason for that is because I got greedy, added into the position, therefore my break-even point got moved up, and I got break-evened, and then price ran to my TPs. All of them. That's why it was eating at me yesterday when I'm sitting in class, and I just cannot believe that I didn't execute to the best of my abilities, and it came back to bite me, right? If I wasn't greedy, didn't add in, in premium, like if I didn't, you know, I wouldn't have gotten stopped out. I would have had a full win yesterday, but I didn't. So um, it would have been really easy for me to take those emotions and bring it into the charts today and force some BS. Um, but I didn't, and I can be thankful for that. And these habits that I'm building today are more important than my P&L from today. They're so much more important because these habits are going to last, and they're actually what's going to make me money in the long term, right? So I'm kind of just yapping at this point, but it's good for me to yap. It's good for me to get this off my chest, and it hopefully gives you some insight into um, I'm just documenting the raw process, right? And these are the things, these are the struggles that you'll deal with, these are the thoughts that you're going to deal with um, when you're trying to make this work, when you're trying to realize this freedom and make trading work. When you haven't had the success thus far, and you've put so much blood, sweat, and tears into this, these are the emotions that you're going to feel. So I'm just talking through that. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. No trades for me. Um, no trades for me today, even though had a pretty good idea where the market was going. So we'll see what happens. Coming into the market open tomorrow. Obviously, this buy side is good to target until we take it, and then after we take it, we'll just have to wait and see. Well, because I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Just you know, still got to Thursday, Friday to end the week off strong. And yeah, just goal right now is just to end the week green. Or not in the week red. Not in the week red. Even if I take no trade, even if I don't profit on the week, if I just don't in the week red, that's a fine week. Um, at this point. Anyways, that's the market recap for Wednesday. Let me know if you did take a trade today or not. And I appreciate you watching, man. I will see you tomorrow in the next one. Peace.